Seize the time. Live now. Make now always the most precious time. Now will never come again. Captain John Luke Picard, Season 5, Episode 25, The Inner Light on Star Trek, The Next Generation. I'm Stephen Middleton, coming to you from the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. I am Possibility Man. Today, I want to share on the theme, this medicinal moment. But first, a reminder, if you have not gone over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, do so today. You'll get updates when I post new content and also information about our podcasts. But back to our share, this medicinal moment. Now, I don't want to be too scripted, but I do have an outline because I don't want to go too far off the reservation as I share with you. This subject is important to me, and I hope that it will be important to you. And I hope that we spend some time with it over the next several days. And I want to talk once again on the theme, this medicinal moment. Now, this medicinal moment is important because our world is filled with individuals who are experiencing chronic stress. And here is what the Center for Studies on Human Stress says about chronic stress. It says that chronic stress is a condition that results from repeated exposure to situations that lead to the release of stress hormones. So chronic stress is a real phenomena, and chronic stress is a medical condition. Here is what WebMD said about chronic stress. It calls it the invisible lion. The chronic stress in many ways is a lot like high blood pressure. You can't see it. You can only have the after effects of it. And this is why, once again, WebMD says that it is the invisible lion. It can become your constant companion, WebMD says. That chronic stress is a condition that can live with a person 24/7. And if they're not aware of this and understand where it comes from and understand what to do about it, it would become their constant companion. WebMD also says that chronic stress is dangerous, that it has the potential to become fatal. Yes, individuals have lost their lives and people have actually taken their lives because of chronic stress. Now, no one is immune from chronic stress. This affects every language, every culture on the face of the earth. Now, people have been talking about this for a long time. People have been trying to find ways to deal with this for a long time. Some people take the prescription medicine route. Now, I'm not advocating that today, but just to be aware that if someone is stuck and cannot get out of it, some people have taken that path to try to find relief for themselves. Some people in our culture, and I'll be candid with you, will take the self-medication route. They may turn to alcohol or to other hard drugs, marijuana or whatever, to try to deal with the effects of stress, of chronic stress. There's some individuals who have offered commentary on this and commentary on ways to deal with it. And one of those individuals is Dr. William Osler. Now, Dr. Osler was a very prominent 20th century physician in the United States. He helped establish Johns Hopkins University. And Dr. Osler is also highly regarded as one of the fathers of modern medicine. He gave a talk at Yale University in 1913, and this is what he said to Yale University students. He said to them that they need to learn to live in what he called day-tight compartments. He was really referring to this moment, or as other people have said, this now. He told them, and I'm quoting now, that they need to let go of their yesterdays and their tomorrows and to find this place where he called day-tight compartments. I'm calling it this moment. Of course, I'm not inventing this term now. So, chronic stress is in the world. Chronic stress is what individuals experience. And if you don't know of anyone who experiences, I would think again, because someone you know is living in chronic stress. And then the big question becomes what to do about it. And this is what I'm calling this medicinal moment. Now, we don't want to reduce things to formulas here, but I'm going to try to reduce what you do about it to a formula. Now, I did not invent this formula. I was introduced to it by my friend Una Wan. And Una Wan tells me that she got this formula from a teacher named Cindy Stevens. If you have not heard that name before, just travel over to YouTube, search for Cindy Stevens, and you'll see some of her work on YouTube. Here is what you can do. Firstly, ask yourself, is what you're struggling in your head or is it in the room? Yes, let's consider this for a moment. Ask yourself if what's bothering you is in your head or is it in the room? If it's in the room, then, that is, if it's happening now, then the question might be, what do you want to do about it? If someone is striking you, for example, what do you want to do about that? If someone is threatening you, for example, what do you want to do about that? If someone is bullying your child, what do you want to do about that? Because if something is happening in this moment that causes you concern, you may be able to take some action or find someone to help you take action to resolve the problem. Most people who experience chronic stress are not dealing with something that's happening in the moment. And this is what Dr. Osler was referring to when he told those students at Yale to forget their yesterdays, because most people who are dealing with chronic stress in a way that they find crippling from a health perspective is something about yesterday, or is something about what they did yesterday, is something about what someone else did yesterday. And believe me, there's some individual who goes back 6 and 7 decades dealing with things that someone did yesterday. The other way that people get all stressed out is to think about what will happen tomorrow. Some people may say, and I've done this myself, how much money will I have when I'm 75 years old? Will I have enough money? Now, if that stresses me out, then of course I am doing it to myself. So therefore, Una Wan and Cindy Stevens says to ask yourself, is it in the room? Is it happening now? If it's not happening now, you are doing it to yourself. Now, this is not a judgment statement. We'll continue talking about this, but it's not happening from the past. It's not happening from the future. If it's not happening to you now, it's not in the room, and it is then a thought. So therefore, Sidney Banks, I believe, was right when he and his students still today are saying, if something is stressing you out, it may be coming from you. As Dr. William Pettit, one of Sidney Banks' students, like to say, that it can only come from the person sitting in my on the britches. So here is this medicinal moment. Here is what you can do about it. Here's what I am attempting to do about chronic stress. To recognize that my thoughts about anything in the future and in the past is merely a result of my thinking. If I can recognize that, then I have the opportunity to come back home, to come back to this moment, to come back to this now, and to realize that in this moment, in this room, that there's nothing happening to me now. This is the place that we want to come back to. How do you get there? We get there through insight. I realize that you may be hearing my voice now, and you may just be hearing noise. That's understandable, because we get there through our own insight. I want to close with a comment made by Cindy Banks that I have paraphrased. Here is what he said: don't look into the past to fix your problems. I want to repeat that. Do not, Cindy Banks said, look into the past to fix your problems. I'll extend this by saying he would also advise us not to look into the future to fix our problem. He says the answer is to find it now, in this moment. I'm Stephen Middleton, coming to you from the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. I am Possibility Man. Until next time, good day.